Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So last time we started discussion about project management, and we have been introduced to this concept. So project can be defined as a temporary endeavor undertaken to accomplish a unique product, services, or results, right? So project can be sequences of tasks which is planned for from the beginning to the end, bounded by time, resource, and required results. Then we have seen attributes of project: time frame, purpose, ownership, resources, and we have seen roles also, the various roles in the project management: project manager, project sponsor, subject matter experts, technical expert, risk and assumptions, interdependent tasks, organizational change, operating in an environment larger than the project itself. So we have discussed these points. I'm just taking a recap. So this is the definition of project management. So why project management is essential? Because it gives you a clear project plan and processes. One can take updates easily about the work in progress. Establishment of plan and schedule becomes easier. Teamwork can be established. Maximize resources utilization, that is possible. Risk can be reduced through appropriate project management. Keep control of costs, which is most important, because if costs are not controlled, what happens? The cost may go beyond control and beyond the budgeted value. Build on knowledge. Keep on learning from the mistakes that are being made, that were made in the previous projects, and keep on building that knowledge. Manage quality. That is important. Without appropriate project management, quality management will not be possible, particularly in temporary endeavors that company do. Continuous oversight. Then we have seen phases in project management cycle: project initiation, project planning, then project execution, and then monitoring, controlling and validation, and lastly closure and evaluation of that particular project. Then we have studied life cycle also. Did we study project life cycle last time? This we studied, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So 4 cycles are there in any project: defining, planning, executing, closing, and activities are also defined in the diagram itself. Then we have seen managing project stakeholders also. Stakeholders are the people or organization which have directly or indirectly vested interest in the project which is ongoing. So you have to manage various project stakeholders, because being a project manager, you would understand that coordinating with different organization, different departments, various people in different organization have to be coordinated well, and that consumes a lot of time. It consumes significant time. So it is really important to manage these project stakeholders. You cannot neglect them. Okay, so today's point of discussion is project management structures. Okay, now to undertake any particular project, we need to have appropriate structure. अगर structure appropriate नहीं है to conduct that particular project, what will happen? Again, the points which we discussed in essentials of why this project management is essential, that comes to picture here. Without appropriate structure, project cannot succeed effectively, efficiently. A project management system provides a framework for launching and implementing project activities within a parent organization, right? सो जो पेरेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन है उसकी तो एक्टिविटीज डेली रूटीन जो चलती है वो चलती रहती है. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट प्रोजेक्ट इज टेम्पररी एंडेवर, सो इट ऑल्सो रिक्वायर सम रिसोर्सेस. तो उसके लिए भी कुछ स्ट्रक्चर होना चाहिए, राइट? एज वी हैव स्टडीड ऑर्गेनाइजेशनल स्ट्रक्चर इन ओबी, various types of organizational structure. You have also seen those structures in sales and distribution management. You know, these structures are modified to fit into operations, to fit into the aim of that company, to fit into their mission, to fit into their objectives, right? So similarly, for every project, there should be appropriate structure. So company uses the existing structure or prepares new structure for incorporating those projects. Okay, so various structures which can be used in project management that we are going to discuss here. So a good system appropriately balances the needs of both the parent organization and the project, right? Now how, why we have differentiated here? Because parent organization के जो daily activities है वो तो चलती रहेगी. Project is something extra or something, you know, which is not a routine tasks of that organization, right? So there must be a good balance between these both these two things, these two entities, parent organization and project itself. And now how would you bring in balance? By defining the interface between the project and parent organization in terms of authority, allocation of resources and eventual integration of project outcomes into mainstream operations. जो भी outcome है वो eventually आप कहाँ पे divert करोगे? in mainstream operation. mainstream operations मतलब daily routine जो काम कर रहे हैं organization वही. With this in mind, we'll start further discussion about the structures. So organizing projects within the functional organization. Now functional structure we have studied, right? Can somebody tell me what is functional structures? We have discussed this before. Yes. Ten students are there in the class and I need answers. Kranti, do you know functional structures, functional departments? Nisha, can you answer? Okay, by the way, Vivek is there. Vivek, how are you? Can you speak?
Yes, sir. Good, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
Okay, good to see you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, okay. So Kranti, are you there? Hold on, please. I have a call to answer.
Can I say it, sir?
Sorry,
Hello,
sir, please wait for 5 minutes.
hello, I'm there. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Uh, so I had a call to answer. Okay. So I was asking you question. Do you recall the functional type of organization, functional departments, functional organization? So I was asking Kranti. Kranti, you there? Ashwini, can you answer?
Sir, marketing, finance, means HRM and finance and administrative.
Okay. So as
Then
per functions, organization is dividing the departments, right? As per functions. Okay. So, so using functional organization, organization can implement these projects. So one approach to organizing projects is to simply manage them within the existing functional hierarchy of the organization. I will show you the exhibit wherein you will be understanding what is functional organization and how projects are incorporated using the same structure. Is the slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So once management decides to implement a project, the different segments of the project are delegated to the respective functional units, with each unit responsible for completing its segment of the project. So as Ashwini said, marketing department होगा, functional finance department होगा, then administration department होगा, HR department होगा, quality department होगा, project department, so procurement department होगा, right? So every department is given respective function to be performed to complete that project according to their area. है So marketing department will get the function with respect to marketing for that particular new project, right? Engineering will take some other functions related to production or engineering or design. So this is standard structure, functional structure of any particular organization. So I know you may not be able to read these fonts here. I will read it for you. So Delta Manufacturing Incorporation, fictitious company has been taken here, and so there are two departments, not two exactly. There are various departments based on function. Again, you can see here, human resource department, finance and administration department, then again, marketing department, engineering department, manufacturing department, and procurement department. Again, under engineering, there are four different departments like electronic engineering, software engineering, mechanical engineering, and design. Marketing के नीचे फिर तीन डिपार्टमेंट है, कस्टमर सर्विस, डोमेस्टिक सेल्स, इंटरनेशनल सेल्स. In manufacturing, again, there are four various departments: fabrication, assembly, testing, production, scheduling. In procurement, purchasing and receiving and inspection are the two departments. So there are various departments based on their functions, what they do, right? Specific functions are there for each department. Now, if you see here, this dot blue line indicates these are the departments which are involved in project coordination. If you see here, these are the departments. So main departments, marketing, engineering, manufacturing, and procurement, are coordinating the new project here. That doesn't mean कि उसमें HR का कोई रोल नहीं है और फाइनेंस का कोई रोल नहीं है. But the major participants, major coordinators are these four. Okay. So functions related to marketing department will be delegated to this department. Related to design or any engineering aspect will be delegated to this department, and so on so forth. So coordination is maintained through normal management channels. जो भी management channels है, communication channel or functional channels, those are maintained. For example, a tool manufacturing firm decides to differentiate its product line by offering a series of tools, especially designed for left-handed individuals. So top management decides to implement the project, and the different segments of the project are distributed to appropriate areas. Now, how functional departments are used in this project? I hope you understood what the project is. It is designing the tools for left-handed people, left-handed individuals. The industrial design department is responsible for modifying specifications to conform to the needs of left-handed users. So design department जो already organization में है, नया setup नहीं किया उन्होंने, already available department है, उसी को ये काम सौंप दिया, ये task दिया उन्होंने, ठीक है. The production department is responsible for devising the means for producing new tools according to these new design specifications. The marketing department is responsible for gauging demand and price as well as identifying distribution outlets. The overall project will be managed within the normal hierarchy, with the project being part of the working agenda of top management. It is self-explanatory. I need not to explain it again, I guess. The functional organization is also commonly used when given the nature of the project. One functional area plays a dominant role in completing the project or has a dominant interest in the success of the project. Okay, so when functional organization is commonly used when the nature of the project is such that it allows one functional area to dominate other functional areas because of expertise it has, because of knowledge that department has, or because of critical importance of that department in the success of the project. Under these circumstances, a high-ranking manager is in that area is given the responsibility of coordinating the project. So let's say एक project का responsibility engineering department को गया because the major role in that project is engineering. So जो ranking manager है that area, in this case engineering, is responsible for coordinating the entire project. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Only Nidhi understood.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So for example, the transfer of equipment and personnel to a new office would be managed by a top ranking manager in the firm's facilities department. Now you may be saying कि कितना easy task है sir, how you call this as a project और उसके लिए कोई coordinator की क्या जरूरत है? But assume many during last few years, many manufacturing companies have shifted to North Himachal Pradesh particularly. So transferring all the equipment, all the people, and setting up new office there is itself is a project, isn't it? So such project can be handed over to the top ranking manager in the firm's facility department. जो भी machinery का maintenance या what do you say, the procurement department, yeah, okay, facility department का जो भी senior manager है, he can handle that project very well because he knows कि कौन से machines critical है, कौन से important है, कैसे वो handle करनी चाहिए, how to move, which way to select. Yes. Likewise, a project involving the upgrading of the management information system would be managed by the information system department, obviously. In both cases, most of the project work would be done within the specified department and coordination with other departments would occur through normal channels. है ना, एक ही department ये project पूरा करेगा, but there must be coordination with other departments as and when the information is required or some other assistance is required, and that too that will occur through normal channels, है ना. तो कोई नया department तो उसके लिए setup नहीं करेगा. So there are advantages and disadvantages of this functional department being used in project management. So advantages, let us discuss those. First is no change. Since functional departments are being used, I mean the structure is not being changed, so that is one advantage. Organization need not to change its boundaries, change its structure. Whatever it has, it can go with that. So there is no radical alteration in the design and operation to the parent organization. So people also don't feel as if new change is being implemented. So there is no resistance in change also. Second advantage is flexibility. There is maximum flexibility in the use of staff. Appropriate specialists in different functions units can temporarily be assigned to work on the project and then return to their normal work after finishing the project or after finishing the work assigned to them within the stipulated time frame in a day. With a broad base of technical personnel available within each functional department, people can be switched among different projects with relative ease, right? That is possible. Third advantage is that in-depth expertise is available, since all the functional areas are involved in this project, involved in particular project. In-depth expertise, very senior people can be engaged in finishing that project, so their expertise can be used there. Easy post-project transition, since you have not created a new structure in the organization, it is very easy once you finish that project. So post project transition जो होगा, मतलब handovering जो होगा project का to their client or customer or within the organization, it would be very easy since structure has not changed. So normal career paths within a functional division are maintained, right? So based on their performance in that particular project, they can get their performance appraisal done, the employees I'm talking about, after the project. अदरवाइज क्या होगा, अगर नया स्ट्रक्चर आपने क्रिएट किया या फिर द स्ट्रक्चर इज ओनली क्रिएटेड फॉर वन पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट, इट वुड बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू असेस एम्प्लॉइज परफॉर्मेंस. He may perform very good in one project, but he may not perform that good in other project. So how to assess that becomes very difficult. While specialists can make significant contribution to project their functional field in their professional home and the focus of their professional growth and advancement, यहाँ पे जो काम जिसको दिया जाता है, इट इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन देयर ओन specialization. So they don't think कि this won't contribute to my own growth and advancement. Ultimately, whenever they progress in project, they actually grow themselves and they get advancement in their professions. Now, as I said, just as there are advantages, there are disadvantages of this format also. Now, these advantages are particularly pronounced when the scope of the project is broad and one functional department does not take the dominant technological and managerial lead on the project. This form is not suitable when the project is very broad. It involves various functional departments and wherein एक डिपार्टमेंट डोमिनेट नहीं करता है बेस्ड ऑन देयर नॉलेज, बेस्ड ऑन देयर एक्सपर्टीज, है ना. इट रिक्वायर्स यूनिफाइड कंट्रीब्यूशन, यूनिफाइड strengths of all the departments. In that case, functional department cannot be that appropriate. So disadvantages are like lack of focus. Each functional unit has its own core routine work to do. Sometimes project responsibilities get pushed aside to meet primary obligations, है ना. ऐसा होता है ना, रूटीन पहले काम खत्म करेंगे लोग, फिर प्रोजेक्ट का काम खत्म करेंगे. सो दैट lacks focus on the project. People don't understand the importance of that project. What they understand is डेली मेरा ये काम है तो पहले मैं वो काम खत्म करूंगा, बिकॉज माई परफॉर्मेंस अप्रेजल इज बेस्ड ऑन दैट वर्क, नॉट ऑन द कंट्रीब्यूशन दैट आई मेक ऑन प्रोजेक्ट. आई एम अनसर्टेन अबाउट इट. Right, so people meet primary obligations first, and that's how they lack focus on the project. This difficulty is compounded when the project has different priorities for different units. For example, the marketing department may consider the project urgent while the operations people consider it only a secondary importance. Right, marketing के लिए एक project वो बहुत important लग सकता है, बहुत urgent लग सकता है, but the same project for operations department or people working in operations department may consider it only a secondary importance because they have a lot other routine jobs to do to finish. Imagine the tension if the marketing people have to wait for the operations people to complete their segment of the project before they proceed. So what will happen? Tension will be created and stress would be created among people and there would be conflicts, right? Second disadvantage is poor integration. Poor integration कब होगा? जब departments are as earlier example, हर एक अपना अपना इम्पोर्टेंट वर्क पहले खत्म करेगा, देन दे विल फोकस ऑन प्रोजेक्ट बेस्ड ऑन देयर convenience, right? So there may be poor integration across functional units. Functional specialists tend to be concerned only with their segment of the project and not with what is best for the total project. पूरे प्रोजेक्ट के लिए क्या बेस्ट है वो नहीं सोचेंगे, वो अपने हिसाब से सोचने लगेंगे कि आप फंक्शनल स्पेशलिस्ट जो फंक्शनल एरिया में काम कर रहे हैं वो सेगमेंट के लिए क्या बेस्ट होगा वही वो थिंक करेंगे, है ना. प्रोजेक्ट के लिए क्या बेस्ट है दे विल नॉट थिंक because they think it is unimportant to them. Third disadvantage is slow. Why slow? It generally takes longer to complete projects through this functional arrangement. This is in part attributable to slow response time. Project information and decision have to be circulated through normal management channels and it takes time. Okay, this point you will understand clearly when we discuss the next structure to accommodate project. Okay, ये स्ट्रक्चर क्यों स्लो है ये आपको बाद में पता चलेगा. ओके, furthermore the lack of horizontal direct communication among functional groups contributes to rework as specialists realize the implication of others actions after the fact. बहुत बारी ऐसा होता है कि employees they did something on their own because there are only horizontal and direct communication, only direct communication, no horizontal communication. No horizontal communication means एक बंदा जो मार्केटिंग डिपार्टमेंट में है ही कैनॉट कम्युनिकेट विद द पर्सन हु इज इन्वॉल्व इन द सेम प्रोजेक्ट फ्रॉम से इंजीनियरिंग डिपार्टमेंट. ही विल हैव टू कॉन्टैक्ट फर्स्ट his boss will contact the boss of engineering department and then radically it will be passed on to the next set of people. Okay, so that will take time since there is a lack of horizontal communication. That is why it is very slow and most of the time अगर employee कोई अब खुद होके काम करता है तो बाद में वो specialist को पता चल जाता है कि no this is not the appropriate work done, so maybe rework are possible and that's why it becomes more slow. So it becomes slower. Lack of ownership, कोई accountability नहीं लेता ऐसे कोई project के. The motivation of people assigned to the project can be weak. The project may be seen as an additional burden that is not directly linked to their professional development or advancement. क्योंकि उनका routine काम तो चलता है and then they are given this project work. So they think यार ये कोई additional work है. Why should I do that? People start resisting it, right? So they lack ownership. They don't think that I am responsible for that particular job. जो project coordinator है he is responsible. He has to finish it somehow, anyhow. So that creates again tension. Furthermore, because they are working on only a segment of the project, professionals do not identify with the projects. They are only working on their segment, so they don't know what is required to be done in other segments of the project. And wherever possible, even if they are capable of contributing in one or the other sense in that project, they don't contribute because they lack ownership. They think कि मैं क्यों करूँ भाई, ये मेरा काम नहीं है. So that was about organizing projects in a functional organization. Now we'll discuss. Clear with that, or do you want me to repeat something? You have queries?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. So next is organizing projects as dedicated teams. Now this is next or another structure type wherein project can be implemented. Okay, so as the name indicated, डेडिकेटेड टीम्स मतलब वो प्रोजेक्ट खत्म करने के लिए, पूरा करने के लिए एक डेडिकेटेड टीम अपॉइंट किया जाएगा. दैट टीम विल बी गिवन द रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी ऑफ दैट पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट. अंडरस्टूड? At the other end of the structural spectrum is the creation of dedicated project teams. Other end, in the sense जो पहला वाला हमने देखा था. So this is the other end of the structure, dedicated project teams. These teams operate as separate units from the rest of the parent organization. Parent organization का अपना खुद का routine job चलता रहेगा. This team dedicatedly work on a particular project that is assigned to them. Usually, a full-time project manager is designated to pull together a core group of specialists who work full-time on the project. The project manager recruits necessary personnel from both within and outside the parent company. Have you seen Mangalayan movie?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So I hope you can relate, teams working on particular projects, how they actually work, right? So Akshay Kumar was full-time project manager. So he pulled on different specialists. He recruited. Some of them were within the company. Some of them were from outside their parent company. They were recruited, given tasks, right? So they have only that particular project to work upon. So they do not have any other routine task other than that project, right? I hope you can relate. So that was the example I wanted to give you. The subsequent team is physically separated from the parent organization and given marching orders to complete the project, right? It is separated from parent organization. The team is entirely separated from parent organization and given marching orders to complete the project. Now here is, you can see the example. So this part of the structure is parent organization, so it will remain intact. People in these departments will function based on their job description, their roles, and there would be separate team created out of these departments only. So maybe one specialist from marketing, one from engineering, one from manufacturing, one from procurement, maybe one from human resource are pulled together to form this team, and there would be one project manager to coordinate entire project. Okay. So the interface between parent organization and the project teams will vary, है ना? तो ये इंटरफेस कितना होगा parent organization और project teams के बीच में, that will vary and dependent on organization, dependent on the culture of that organization. In some cases, the parent organization maintains a tight rein through financial controls, while in some other cases, firm granted the project manager maximum freedom to get the project done as he sees fit, right? So sometimes, very tight control is there on financial aspects. So parent organization maintains that tight rein. Whereas if the project is really critical for the success of organization, the project manager is given freedom on finance also. So there is one case that I wanted to share with you. Lockheed Martin has used this approach to develop next generation jet airplanes. So I'll give you that case. Hold on. Oh, sorry. Okay. Hope you can see this screen. Can you see this PDF
Yes.
file?
Yes, sir.
I'll make it 4 size. Can you read it properly? Oops. Okay. So Who will read this for entire class? Yes. Sneha, can you read this? Sneha isn't there. Nisha, can you read this?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please read it loudly.
In project management, flow, sir, what is this? Flow, project management, flow, Chunk works is a core for a small, dedicated team assigned to a breakthrough project. The first chunk work was created more than a half century ago by Clarence L. Kelly Johnson at Lockheed Aerospace, Aerospace Corporation. Kelly project had two objectives. First, to create a jet fighter, the shooting star, and second is to do it as fast as possible. Kelly and a small band of engineering mavericks operated as a dedicated team, un- uncumbered by red tape and the bureaucratic delays of the normal research and development process. The name was coined by a team member, Edwin Burr, after the moonshine bravery deep in the forest in the popular cartoon strip. Lil Abner made whiskey was euphemistically called a Picapo Joy Juice. The project was spectacular success. In just 43 days, Johnson's team of 23 engineers and import personnel put together the first American fighter to fly at more than 500 miles per hour. Lockheed has continued to use Chung's work to develop a string of high-speed jets, including the F-117 series fighter. Lockheed Martin has an official shrunk work division. Their charter is the shrunk work is a concentration of a few good people solving problems far in advance and at the fraction of the cost by applying the simplest, most most straightforward method possible to develop and produce new products.
Thank you, Nisha. So, what did you learn? Can somebody brief here? What is important aspect here? Yes.
Sir, in short, I can say that they divided the whole group into small teams, and then they assigned them the work which they are specialized in, and completed the whole task.
Okay, so there is some difference. I mean, what you said organization was divided into small teams, right? It wasn't that. As we have been discussing, to design and start manufacturing this fighter jet, this Lockheed Martin company has done create a team which will dedicatedly work on this particular project. So these people were taken from various different departments of the organization. They were already working in the organization in different departments. They were pulled in and given this project task only. So they were not expected to their routine jobs. They were only focused on this particular project. And to their surprise, this project was a spectacular spectacular success in just 43 days. Can you imagine? Team of 23 engineers and teams of support personnel put together to come up with a fly jet which can fly at 500 miles per hour. 43 दिनों में. Why these teams were, why this team was created? Just to overcome the red tape and bureaucratic delays in normal R&D process. Normal R&D process में क्या होता है? अप्रूवल लेना, बजट सैंक्शन करवा के लेना, ये सारी चीजों में बहुत सारा टाइम चला जाता है. सो हैड इट बीन दिस प्रोजेक्ट वाज गिवन टू वन पर्टिकुलर फंक्शनल डिपार्टमेंट और फंक्शनल डिपार्टमेंट यूज करके अगर ये इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहते थे तो दैट वुड बी वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू फिनिश इट विद इन 43 days. It might have taken lot of time, maybe a year. Okay, understood?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, can you see the slide now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So this in other way is also called as projectized organization. Projectized organization. In the case of firms where projects are the dominant form of a business, such as a construction firm or a consulting firm, the entire organization is designed to support projects. Okay, so especially in construction firm, उसके अलग-अलग project चलते रहते हैं, right? So entire organization is such designed so that it will support project teams. So project teams become dominant and organization, parent organization becomes secondary. Instead of one or two special projects, the organization consists of sets of quasi-independent teams working on specific projects. है ना? So it may be in some organization, specially team banana is not for one particular project is not feasible. So what they do, quasi-independent teams. Quasi-independent teams matlab same team will work on various simultaneous projects which are going on. So कुछ लोग उसमें उस टीम से एक अलग प्रोजेक्ट पे काम करेंगे, जब वो खत्म करेंगे तो दूसरे वही टीम से दूसरे लोग वहाँ पे काम करेंगे, so that they slowly build up that particular project. The main responsibility of transitional functional department is to assist and support these project teams. Functional department का जो भी disadvantage था वो निकालने के लिए these teams are developed. So for example, the marketing department is directed at generating new business that will lead to more projects, while the human resource department is responsible for managing a variety of personal issues as well as recruiting and training new employees. So this type of organization is referred to in the literature as a projectized organization and is graphically portrayed in the figure which I'm going to show you in next slide. It is important to note that not all projects are dedicated project. So personnel can work part-time on several projects. So this is the diagram for projectized organized structure. You can see now dedicated teams are have been created here. If you see alpha project manager, so again functional departments are there. Beta project manager is there. Again different departments are there. So these are projectized organization structure. So the point here I wanted to make is that this organized structure is designed such that the teams will work on projects and parent organization will support them. So this marketing, human resource, legal, finance and administration will keep on supporting these two projects which are simultaneously ongoing. Okay. So as in the case of functional organization, the dedicated project team approach has strengths and weaknesses. Okay, as functional organization had its own strengths and weaknesses, so team approach also its weaknesses and strengths. So strengths are simple, it is really simple compared to functional department. Dedicated team है तो उसमें कोई confusion नहीं है किसने क्या काम करना है. Other than taking away resources in the form of specialists assigned to the project, the functional organization remains intact with the project team in operating independently. It is very fast. जैसे हमने एग्जांपल देखा 43 दिनों में एयरक्राफ्ट रेडी था फाइटर, सो इट इज वेरी फास्ट. अप्रूवल सिस्टम, हॉरिजॉन्टल कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम, जो भी प्रॉब्लम फंक्शन डिपार्टमेंट में हुए यहाँ पे वो नहीं है. दैट्स व्हाई the response time is very less and project can be completed very fast. Cohesiveness. Now, high level of motivation, cohesiveness often emerges within the project teams. Participants share a common goal and personal responsibility toward the project and the team. Now, why this high cohesiveness? Because of teams. Now, again, going back to the roots, organizational behavior, you have studied the difference between groups and teams. So there we have studied teams are more cohesive than groups. Can somebody tell me why? Why teams are more cohesive than groups? Please respond. Please respond. See, teams may no, again there are various aspects. Teams are groups में कैसा है कि there is no accountability. टीम्स में अकाउंटेबिलिटी है, पर्सनल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी है, कॉमन गोल है, राइट. ग्रुप में कॉमन गोल नहीं हो सकता, ग्रुप में ओनली गोल है, तो हर एक अपना अपना गोल के पीछे भागते हैं. टीम में ऐसा नहीं होता है. सेकेंड थिंग मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट इज दैट when people are chosen for a particular project which is important. See, let's say you are being selected by a company in campus placement, आपको एक जॉब मिल गई, ठीक है. तो within 1 month, looking at your performance, you were selected in one of the projects which is very important for that particular organization. तो कंपनी से ऐसे सिलेक्टेड लोगों को ही सिलेक्ट किया गया बेस्ड ऑन देयर परफॉर्मेंस फॉर दिस पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट. सो हाउ वुड यू फील इफ यू आर वन ऑफ द टीम मेंबर्स?
Sir, one will feel very motivated and will be very dedicated when he does, because he has a responsibility to prove himself or herself.
Correct. Yes, you are very I mean correct. See, अगर किसी को सिलेक्ट किया जाता है फॉर पर्टिकुलर प्रोजेक्ट तो ऑब्वियसली उसका मॉरल तो बढ़ेगा, कॉन्फिडेंस भी बढ़ेगा, एंड सेकेंडली बिकॉज ऑफ वन स्पेसिफिक कॉमन गोल, बिकॉज इज सेल्फ मोटिवेटेड, तो ऑटोमेटिकली कोहेसिवनेस आ जाएगा. कोहेसिवनेस मीन्स to get the feeling of belongingness to that particular team, है ना. So when you walk in the company you will feel pride, है ना, कि I am the part of team, isn't it? So project manager says to you, you will complete that work within stipulated time because of that cohesiveness feeling, because of self motivation, because of belongingness. Then cross functional integration. Cross functional integration यहाँ पे हो जाता है because people from marketing, people from sales, people from research and development, people from finance, people from HR, people from operations, manufacturing, quality, so on and so forth. People are collected from various functions, so their expertise come in automatic, है ना. तो cross functional integration भी हो जाता है. So they give inputs based on their specialty, and obviously project needs that only, isn't it? So in many cases, the project team approach is the optimum approach for completing a project when you view it solely from the standpoint of what is best for completing the project. Its weaknesses become more evident when the needs of the parent organization are taken into account. So expensive because you have to, why the disadvantages of this method? It is expensive. Why? Because not only have you created a new management position, project manager, but resources are also assigned on a full-time basis, है ना. ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को जो रिसोर्सेज चाहिए उसके अलावा आपने फुल टाइम रिसोर्सेज आपको देने हैं वहाँ पे. This can result in duplication of efforts across projects and a loss of economies of scale. There is no economy of scale because people are working only on one particular project. So duplication of work is there. जो भी मशीनरीज लगेगी उस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए वो आप बाय करोगे, जो भी फैसिलिटीज लगेगी वो आप इनकॉर्पोरेट करोगे वहाँ पे, एंड इट मे बी डुप्लीकेटेड इन अदर प्रोजेक्ट्स, सो इकोनॉमीज ऑफ स्केल cannot be possible. Then internal strife. Sometimes dedicated project teams take on an entity of their own and conflict emerges between the team and the remainder of the organization. So जैसे मैंने बताया that pride can become overconfidence. है ना, person belonging to one particular team, they start feeling that we are not the part of organization, we are separate organization. So we cannot be ruled by other people, we don't have other bosses, we just have project manager, that's it. So this divisiveness can undermine not only the integration of an eventual output of the project into mainstream operations, but also the assimilation of project teams members back into their functional units once the project is completed. है ना, जब आप एटीट्यूड दिखा रहे होते हैं, जब आप प्रोजेक्ट में हो, वो प्रोजेक्ट खत्म होने के बाद जब आपको बैक टू योर पवेलियन जाना पड़ता है तो कैसे वापस डिपार्टमेंट में, बहुत एटीट्यूड दिखाता पहले प्रोजेक्ट में था तो. So that kind of clashes can come in. Limited technological expertise. Creating self-contained teams inhibit maximum technological expertise being brought to bear on problems. Technical expertise is limited somewhat to the talents and experience of the specialist assigned to the project. So while nothing prevents specialists from consulting with others in the functional division, the we-they syndrome and the fact that such sorry, that is not tested. So the fact that such conflicts come into here, because you know obviously जब प्रोजेक्ट टीम्स बनाए जाते हैं तो इसका जो भी इन्वेंशन होगा या जो भी टेक्निकल एक्सपर्टाइज डेवलप होगा, द ऑब्जेक्टिव इज टू शेयर इट थ्रू आउट द ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, बट वो शेयर नहीं हो पाता है बहुत बार. वाई? बिकॉज वी एंड दे सिंड्रोम डेवलप हो जाता है यहाँ पे. वी मीन्स हम टीम हैं और आप अलग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन हो, तो वो शेयरिंग नहीं हो पाता है ना. सो दैट क्रिएट्स बैरियर अमंग project teams and organization. So that should not happen, but then again this is a disadvantage, that is a limitation one has to face. So that is all from my side today.